Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I'm a researcher, I'm a public speaker, I'm a sociologist, and on this channel I do a number of stuffs. But all these stuffs I do, you can easily cluster them into sociology, research, relationship, and migration. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel previously, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and subscribe. Tap or click the subscribe button on your screen right now. And if you have subscribed previously, thank you very much for staying tuned. In this video today, I want to address a very important issue in context of migration. The title of this video, therefore, is Visa Does Not Guarantee Entry: How to Avoid Deportation at the Port of Entry when migrating or traveling abroad. This video is very important because I've seen and I've heard a lot of stories about people who had visas, but they were deported. They were denied entry at the port of entry overseas. That is, they had original visas, they booked ticket, they bought flight ticket, and they traveled abroad, only to get to the port of entry at destination country, and they were refused entry and deported back to their country after telling people, after celebrating that they're going abroad, some of them with their families. And I said, well, even if you are a researcher, an academic, or a scholar, you will have different reasons to travel across the world. And if you want to relocate with your family or you want to migrate abroad, you will travel and you will have to arrive at the port of entry in the country you are going to. And you will be interviewed, most of the time rigorously. And many, on account of this, they failed the interview at the port of entry and they were refused entry and returned back to where they were coming from. Very traumatic, very common. Most times you don't know, you don't hear these stories, but you as my subscriber and my viewers, I want to show you how you can avoid this very unfortunate, very traumatic situation. So you are aware. Number one, be aware that it's very common for people to be denied or refused entry at destination when people are traveling. It's common. And be aware that because you have obtained your visa, whether visit visa, as a tourist or as a visitor, or you're going for a conference, or you want to relocate, that you have visas does not guarantee that you will be allowed entry. You will still be screened before you are allowed into the country, because many immigration officers at the ports of entry, had the assumption that many people could have gotten the visas fraudulently. So they want to have another level of screening before you are allowed to enter the country. So make sure you view this video to the end. It will do a lot of good. Whether you're already abroad and you have people you want to bring to come and join you, or you are still at home, you're thinking of traveling, or you have no people who are traveling at one point or the other, share this video with them to save. It may save them a lot of harm. So, number one, you must be aware that this problem is common. Then you must be aware that the immigration official or officials who will interview you or ask you questions before they stamp your passport to allow you enter don't trust you. Be aware. Yeah, they will not look hostile to you, but deep they are well trained, so they don't trust you. As you come in, the first thing on their mind is that this one is here. So let us see if it's genuine. So they don't trust you. That's number one. You have to know they don't trust you, and they're looking for every opportunity to make sure you are deported most of the time. Not that they are wicked, but just they are training. They want to be sure if you make a simple mistake, you might be refused entry and you're going to be put on the next available flight back to where you're coming from. So no, it's common. Be aware. Then know that the immigration officials don't outrightly trust you. And at the slightest opportunity, you may be sent back home. Then Another point that you must be aware of your visa conditions. Be aware, are you going for a conference? Or for tourism? Are you going for study? Are you relocating or migrating permanently? Be aware. Study the visas very well. Be familiar with your application form. Be aware, be familiar with your documentation, the documents you submitted to obtain the visa. Be familiar with everything in there. Be familiar and be involved in the visa process. I have another video on this channel on how you can process your visas without using an agent. Most of the time, agents have put people in serious problems. They gather documents for them without the people knowing the content or the component of the document. And when you go to the port of entry abroad, they will be interviewing you based on the conditions and the background of your visa. So if you don't have sufficient information, then you might be in serious problem, and you may be denied entry. You may be deported, sent back home, technically speaking. So be involved in the visa process. Even if agent or somebody is assisting you, be seriously involved. Don't let them just give you visa and say, okay, now you can go. No, it's very dangerous, because when you are interviewed at port of entry, you will not have sufficient knowledge to be able to go in. So be familiar with it. This is very important. This next point is very important. Be very formal. Be formal with the immigration officer interviewing you at the port of entry. Don't be informal. Don't be casual. Don't let down your guards. Be very formal. And even when they're trying to be informal with you, be as formal as possible, because this informality may be dangerous. You let your guard and you say what you are not meant to say. And once they doubt a simple thing you say, they capitalize on that and begin to ask you further questions. And you begin to make more mistakes. And the next thing is they say, I'm sorry, you're going to enter Australia, you will not be allowed to enter Canada, you will not be allowed to enter France, you're not going to be allowed to enter United States or United Kingdom or Germany or France. So once that is altered, definitely that's the end of the game. No begging, nothing. So be formal and don't be casual at all with the immigration officer. And do not talk too much. This point is very important. Say what you have to say briefly and sharp and formally. No explanation. Except you are asked questions. Don't say things you are not asked. Don't answer questions you were not asked. Be formal and be brief in your answers. Be bold. You don't need to panic. You don't need to be anxious. You don't need to look worried. They might suspect your look. They are sociologists. They are psychologists. They are trained in human behavior. Once they sense that you are anxious or you are scared, it's a red flag. They may take you on that. So be formal. Do not talk too much. Be bold. Talk only within your visa conditions. That's a very strong point. Only within your visa condition. If you are coming for visit, don't talk about work permit. Don't say anything about work. Just simply say, I'm here to visit, I'm here for conference, and I'm returning back to my country after this. So I'll still do another video to follow up on this, on maybe on what other things you may need to know. But this is particularly on this. But another video will follow. Be on the lookout on this trade. So don't, maybe even if you are going there for some auxiliary purposes later on, stay with what you are coming to do at this point in time. Visit, talk about visitors, visa that you are holding. If you're not holding work permit, don't talk about you wanting to work later on. Don't talk about switching your visa. No. So just stay within your visa conditions. If you are there for study, if for example, if you're in the UK, you're not going to have more than 20 hours of work, per week. Don't talk about maybe you're going to work there eternally or all day. So just be familiar with your visa conditions and stay within that. Know where you're going. Especially if you are a first-time traveler, if you're not a frequent traveler, they tend to pay more attention to you because they don't show. But once they look at your travel history, they see you are a regular flyer, they may simply stamp your visa with your passport without even asking you much question. They say, welcome to so place you're traveling to. But if you are a first-time traveler, that one tends to be trickier. So Be familiar with it. You are going. Where are you staying? Where are you going? Have your contact numbers handy. Names of places you are going, names of the persons you are going to. If it's hotel, if it's somebody, have the numbers handy so you might call if they ask, if they need to call and confirm. Have the names of places you are visiting, why you are visiting, contact numbers and reasons for coming to where you are going, especially if you are a first-time person. And if you are visiting, make sure you stay within that. And if you are relocating, make sure reasons for your relocation are clear, you know, as you are going. Do not be carried away. Research very well before you travel. I'm glad you are viewing this video. That means it's part of your research. So research very well where you are going, site to be visiting if you are on a visit visa. If you are going for conference, let your abstracts or your papers, the conference organizers, their email, their phone numbers. Make sure you inform the conference organizers or who are going ahead before you board your flight, that you'll be arriving so time, you're likely to touch down so time, you're likely to be at the point of entry so time. Let them be aware, so they are expecting if you need to contact them. I once heard the story of somebody who was traveling abroad, even with his family, and did not even tell the host, the person that's supposed to host them there. You know, no information. He just got to the port of entry with his family, and the immigration officer started calling the individual he was supposed to stay with. Very, very bad. That's very bad. They should be aware. And the individual was very worried. And so, who is that? He was not informed somebody will be coming yet. The immigration officials at the port of entry called the individual. Are you expecting so people? Were you expecting so people? You don't want to know the end of the story. So give advance notice. If you are going, who are you going to meet? Make sure you tell them. And be careful. Be careful. Be very careful. From home, I did another video on what you need to know if you are traveling abroad for the first time. View that video too. So be careful if you are a first-time traveler. Even if you are a frequent traveler, you cannot be too confident. So do your homework, be careful, and pray. Good luck until I see you in my next video. Subscribe to this channel and share with others. Bye for now.